The notifications wouldn't stop coming. My phone lit up like it was on fire, buzzing against the wooden dinner table, while my parents chatted about the latest church potluck. I glanced down, heart sinking, as the school parents' Facebook group preview flashed across the screen. "What is this?" my dad asked, his fork paused midair. Before I could swipe it away, the screen filled with comments. "Is this Kendall with Ramona? How disgusting." The photo was clear as day, me and Ramona kissing behind the soccer field bleachers last weekend, taken without us knowing. My world crashed in that moment, the secret we had guarded for 6 months blown open in the most public way possible in our small suburban town outside Atlanta, Georgia. I froze, fork slipping from my fingers, clattering onto the plate. Mom looked up first, her eyes narrowing at the phone, then at me. "Kendall, is everything okay?" she asked, voice tight with that familiar worry she always carried since I started high school. I muttered something about a school thing and bolted upstairs, slamming my bedroom door behind me. The group had exploded, 120 comments in under 10 minutes. Some parents demanded the principal expel us. Immediately others posted Bible verses calling it an abomination, while a few just typed shocked emojis, followed by calls to pray for our souls. The photo was grainy but unmistakable. Ramona with her dark curls pulled back in a ponytail, her hand cupping my cheek. My eyes closed in that moment of pure stolen happiness. "Who took it?" I whispered to myself, scrolling frantically. We had been so careful, meeting only after practice in the far corner of the field, where the security cameras didn't reach, or so we thought. My hands shook as I opened my messages and typed to Ramona. "Ramona, they posted us. The parents group has the photo. Call me now." Her reply came instantly. "What? No way, I'm at home to send screenshot." I did, and within seconds her voice cracked over the phone when we connected. "Kendall, this can't be happening. My dad is downstairs yelling about the group chat right now. We had met 6 months earlier on the varsity soccer team, both of us seniors at Evergreen Hills High. She was the confident striker with the easy laugh, and I was the quiet goalkeeper who kept to herself until one rainy afternoon practice when she offered me her umbrella, and we ended up talking for hours in her car. From there it grew in secret texts, late-night drives to the park, stolen kisses that made everything else fade. We knew the risks in our conservative community where church on Sunday and family values meant everything, but the pull was stronger than the fear. Until now. Downstairs I heard my father's heavy footsteps on the stairs. "Kendall, open this door right now," he boomed. I shoved the phone under my pillow, heart hammering. The comments kept pouring in, one from Mrs. Thompson, our neighbor's mom. "This is why we need better supervision at school events. These girls are corrupting our children." Another from a coach's wife. "I always suspected something off about Kendall. She never dated any boys." My stomach twisted. I had dated a boy freshman year just to fit in, but it felt wrong and empty. Ramona was the first person who made sense, the first who saw me. But now that truth was weaponized against us, and the price was already climbing. My parents were devout, their world built on rules that left no room for this. What would they do? Ground me forever, cut off my college fund, the scholarship applications I had spent months on, all riding on my clean image. I opened the door just a crack. Dad's face was red, his jaw set like the time I got a B in history. "Give me the phone," he said, extending his hand. I hesitated, then handed it over, watching his eyes scan the screen. Mom stood behind him, arms crossed, her lips pressed thin. "This is a sin, Kendall," she whispered, voice breaking. "How long has this been going on?" I couldn't answer, tears burning my eyes. The group was still blowing up now with calls for a special parent meeting. Ramona texted again. My mom saw it too. She's reading the comments, but she hasn't said anything yet. I prayed silently that Ramona would be okay. Her family was a bit more laid back, but still the exposure felt like a public execution. That night I lay awake, replaying every moment we shared, wondering if love like ours could survive the storm. The inner voice screamed that I had betrayed my family, my faith, everything they taught me about right and wrong. Yet another voice whispered that hiding who I was hurt more. The notifications finally slowed, but the damage was done. By morning the whole school would know, and the real confrontations would begin. I clutched my pillow, wondering how much I would have to lose before this was over. The next morning at breakfast the air was thick with silence. Dad slid the newspaper across the table, but his eyes said everything. Mom had made pancakes like always, but no one ate. "Kendall, we need to talk about last night," she started carefully. I nodded, staring at my plate. The group chat had reached 200 comments overnight, some tagging the principal directly. I refreshed it on my laptop when they weren't looking and saw new photos. Someone had posted a blurry one of us holding hands at the mall last month. How did they get these? Ramona called before school, her voice hoarse from crying. My dad is furious. He wants me to delete all my socials and see the youth pastor. But Kendall, we can't deny this forever, can we? I didn't know. Part of me wanted to run away, the other part wanted to fight. At school, the whisper started immediately in the hallway, kids staring, phones out. Sarah, my teammate from soccer, avoided my eyes, but I caught her smirking at her group. Was it her? She had always been competitive, maybe jealous of my spot on the team. Ramona found me at my locker, her eyes red-rimmed. We hugged quickly in the empty stairwell, the only safe spot left. This is bad, she whispered, but we have each other, right? I nodded, but inside the guilt gnawed deeper. My parents had grounded me: no phone after school, no practice until we talked to the pastor. The price was already high and it was only day one. By lunch, the principal called us both in. Mr. Reynolds looked disappointed more than angry. The parents' group is in an uproar, he said. We may need to address this publicly. I felt sick. Ramona squeezed my hand under the table, out of sight. Back home that evening, my parents sat me down with the Bible open. This is not God's plan for you, Kendall, my dad said, voice firm but cracking with hurt. We love you, but we can't support this. The words cut deep because I knew they meant it. Mom cried quietly, asking where she went wrong as a parent. I wanted to scream that nothing was wrong with me, that love wasn't a choice, but the words stuck. That night I texted Ramona under the covers, I don't know if I can do this, the cost is too high. Her reply came fast, don't give up on us, please. The inner conflict tore at me all night. Was I selfish for wanting this, for risking my family's love, my future? Or was denying Ramona the real betrayal? Sleep never came, and by dawn I knew the storm was just beginning. The parents' group had quieted, but I sensed the calm before worse. Little did I know the biggest shock was coming from the last person I expected. The school bell rang, but the tension in the halls felt louder than any alarm. I kept my head down, walking to class, avoiding the stares and the muffled laughs. Sarah cornered me in the girls' locker room after third period, her arms crossed. You know this is your fault, right? She sneered. If you hadn't been so obvious, no one would care. I pushed past her, heart pounding, but her words lingered. Was I obvious? Had we slipped up? Ramona met me at lunch in our usual corner of the cafeteria, but today it felt exposed. Her hand brushed mine under the table, sending that familiar spark, but today it carried fear. My dad saw the post last night, she whispered. He wants me to transfer schools or something. I swallowed hard, imagining her dad, the quiet accountant who coached our youth league. Then the group chat pinged again on my secretly checked phone. A new comment from an account I didn't recognize at first: Victoria Ellis, Ramona's mom. I read it twice, my breath catching. These are children, not criminals, she wrote. Posting private moments to shame them is cruel and unchristian. Love comes in many forms, and judging these girls without knowing their hearts is the real sin. Stop this witch hunt or I will involve the school board myself. The comments exploded again, but this time mixed, some agreeing, some calling her out. Ramona gasped when I showed her. My mom, she never talks like that in public. What is she doing? The defense hit like a bomb. Victoria Ellis was known as the quiet PTA mom, who baked cookies for events, not the type to challenge the group. Why was she protecting me, the girl who had secretly dated her daughter? My own parents saw it too. Dad slammed his fist on the table at dinner. Even Ramona's mother is confused, he growled. Mom looked torn between her faith and the unexpected ally. Kendall, this woman is enabling sin, she said softly, but her eyes held doubt. I didn't know what to feel, gratitude or more guilt. That night Ramona and I talked for hours on a quick call from the backyard. Mom has been acting weird since the post, she said. She hugged me this morning and said she understands more than I know. Understands what? The next day at school, the principal called another meeting, this time with our parents invited. My mom and dad sat rigid on one side of the table, Ramona's dad looking uncomfortable. Victoria walked in last, her posture straight, eyes steady. Mr. Reynolds cleared his throat. We need to address the situation calmly. Before anyone else spoke, Victoria leaned forward. These girls deserve privacy and support, not public humiliation. I have watched Kendall on the field. She is kind, responsible, and good for my daughter. The room went silent. My dad started to protest, but Victoria cut in gently. I am not saying I have all the answers, but shaming them helps no one. Think of the damage to their mental health, their futures. I sat there stunned. This woman who barely knew me beyond team events was standing against the tide for me. Inner voices warred, one grateful, the other terrified of what it meant for Ramona. Later in the parking lot, Victoria pulled me aside while the others talked. "Kendall, I know this is hard," she said softly, "but you are not alone." Her eyes held a depth I couldn't place, like she carried her own hidden pain. Ramona watched from the car, tears in her eyes. That evening my parents argued in the kitchen, voices raised for the first time in years. "How can that woman defend this?" your mother said. Dad replied, "We need to protect our daughter from this influence." I hid in my room questioning everything. Was Victoria right, or was she betraying her own family values? The moral line blurred and the pressure built. Sarah texted me later, "Sorry, but someone had to do it, the photos." So it was her jealousy over playing time, or maybe she liked Ramona too. Betrayal stung deep. I confronted her the next morning in the hall. "Why, Sarah?" I asked, voice shaking. She shrugged. "It was for your own good." The confrontation left me drained. Ramona and I met secretly after school in the park, our happy place now shadowed. We held each other tight, no words needed. But the cost was mounting. My family strained, Ramona's dad distant, and the whole town watching. Victoria texted me privately that night, "Stay strong, Kendall, we will get through this." The unexpected support gave hope but also raised questions. Why her? Why now? The inner conflict deepened as I lay awake, wondering if accepting her help meant dragging her family down too. The school board meeting was called for Friday night, the gym packed with parents. I sat in the back row with Ramona, our hands inches apart but not touching. My parents flanked me like guards. Victoria sat across the aisle, her presence a quiet force. The principal opened with a statement about respect and privacy, but the crowd wasn't having it. One father stood shouting, "This is an attack on family values." Victoria rose next, her voice calm but firm. "I have raised Ramona to be kind and honest. Kendall is the same. Exposing them this way teaches our children cruelty, not compassion." Gasps rippled through the room. My mom gripped my arm, whispering, "How can she?" But something in Victoria's words hit me deep, like she spoke from experience. After the meeting, Victoria invited us for coffee, just the three of us. In the quiet diner, she shared a piece of her past. "When I was your age, I had a best friend. We were inseparable," she said, eyes distant. "Society wasn't kind then either. I chose the safe path and regretted it for years." Ramona stared wide-eyed. "Mom, you never told me." Victoria smiled sadly. "I want better for you both." The revelation shifted everything. My own guilt eased a fraction, but new fears rose. If I accepted this support, would I lose my family forever? Back home, the arguments escalated, Dad packing my things, threatening to send me to a relative's farm upstate. "You need time away from this influence," he said. Mom cried, begging me to repent. I locked myself in my room, texting Ramona, "I can't lose them, but I can't lose you either." Sarah confronted me again in gym class. "You think her mom defending you changes anything?" she hissed. "The team is split now." I stood my ground for the first time. "What I do with my life is not your business." The confrontation left me shaking but empowered. Ramona faced her own battle, her dad demanding she end it. But Victoria held firm at home too. The moral dilemma consumed me. Was I selfish for fighting, or cowardly for considering surrender? Nights blurred into tear-filled reflection, the price of truth versus the cost of hiding. One afternoon, Victoria drove us to the park where Ramona and I first kissed. "Sit," she said. "Talk it out." We did, pouring out fears, hopes. Her presence anchored us but also highlighted the divides. My family texted constantly Bible verses while hers offered quiet support. The betrayal from Sarah spread rumors at school, friends turning away. I questioned my choices every hour. Was love worth this pain? Victoria noticed my withdrawal. "Kendall, the right path is rarely easy," she said. "But living a lie costs more in the end." Her words echoed as I drove home, wondering if I had the strength to pay the price. The week ended with another family dinner turned intervention, my aunt and uncle joining to pray over me. I sat silent, tears falling. Ramona called later, her voice breaking. "Dad wants me to see a counselor alone." We cried together on the phone, the distance feeling miles wide. Yet Victoria's defense kept the door open a crack. The awakening began slowly. I realized hiding had its own betrayal to myself. But the road ahead looked impossible. The town divided overnight, some parents pulling kids from soccer, others supporting quietly. I walked the halls, head high but inside crumbling. The principal announced a no-tolerance policy for bullying, but the damage was done. My grades slipped, focus lost in endless what-ifs. Ramona struggled too, missing practice, her spark dimmed. We met in secret more often, the park our sanctuary, but even their eyes watched. Victoria organized a small support circle, just parents who agreed with her, but it drew fire online. One evening my dad found my journal entries about Ramona. The fight that followed shook the house. "You are throwing away your future," he yelled. I stood up for the first time. "This is my life, Dad, not yours." The words hung heavy, his face pale with hurt. Mom mediated, but the rift widened. Ramona faced similar at home, her dad threatening to ground her indefinitely. Victoria stepped in again, calmly but firmly. "Let her live," she told him. The moral trade-off hit hard. Was family harmony worth my happiness? Sarah apologized half-heartedly in the cafeteria. "I was jealous," she admitted. "But the harm was irreversible. I forgave her, not for her but for my peace." Ramona and I talked long into the night, deciding to stand together no matter the cost. The decision brought relief and terror. Victoria shared more of her story, a lost love from college that taught her acceptance. Her courage inspired but also burdened me with responsibility. The school held a diversity assembly forced by the board. I spoke briefly, my voice trembling. Love shouldn't be a secret or a shame. Applause mixed with boos. Ramona held my hand backstage afterward. "We are stronger together," she said. But the price showed in strained family dinners, silent car rides, lost friends. Inner awakening grew. I saw the prejudice not just outside but the doubts I carried inside. Victoria became a bridge, but crossing it meant leaving parts of my old life behind. Confrontations peaked at a parent-teacher conference where my mom clashed with Victoria publicly. Words flew, accusations of enabling versus protecting. I sat between, feeling torn. The evening ended in tears but also clarity. I could not go back. The choice was made, the consequences mine to bear. Summer break approached but tension peaked. My parents offered a deal: therapy and no contact with Ramona for the scholarship money. I refused, the sacrifice too great. Ramona chose similarly, defying her dad with Victoria's support. We spent stolen days together rebuilding strength. Victoria hosted us for dinner one night, simple pasta and honest talk. "You both have paid enough," she said. Now live. Betrayals healed slowly. Sarah even joined our side after reflection. Family wounds lingered, my mom calling less, my dad avoiding eye contact. The inner conflict resolved into resolve. I was not wrong for loving Ramona. But the price was real: lost trust, strained bonds. Ramona grew closer to her mom, their relationship deepening through the fire. I envied that but found my own path. A final school event, the senior awards night, brought everything to head. I received an academic honor but the whispers followed. Ramona sat with me, Victoria in the audience beaming. My parents attended, stiff but present. Afterward Dad pulled me aside. "We don't understand but we love you," he said, voice thick. The words were a start, not full acceptance but enough. Mom hugged me, tears flowing. The moment felt like awakening, true self emerging from shadows. Ramona and I walked the field that night, hand in hand, no hiding. The stars above seemed brighter. Victoria watched from afar, smiling. The journey had cost friendships, family, peace, but gained authenticity, courage. Yet questions lingered. Graduation arrived in a blur of caps and gowns. Ramona and I walked across the stage together, our hands brushing in silent solidarity. The parents' group had quieted but the scars remained. My family attended, proud yet distant, Victoria's influence softening edges over months of quiet talks. Ramona moved in with more freedom, her mom championing every step. I chose a local college, staying close to rebuild. The summer brought healing picnics, long talks with Victoria, who became like a second mother, sharing wisdom on balancing truth and love. Ramona and I planned our future, small apartment, shared dreams, no more secrets. The betrayals faded, Sarah a distant memory, friends returning slowly. But the deepest price was the lost innocence, the forced growth. I reflected often on the nights of doubt, the moments I nearly broke. One evening on the same park bench where it all began, Ramona leaned against me. "We made it," she whispered. Victoria joined us later with ice cream, laughing about the chaos. The three of us sat in easy silence, the bond forged in fire unbreakable. My own family invited us for dinner, tentative steps toward understanding. The world had not changed overnight but we had. Looking back, the exposure forced choices no one should face. I paid with tears and isolation but gained a self I could live with. Ramona found strength in vulnerability, Victoria in advocacy. The drama taught that love demands courage and truth its price. As leaves turned in our first college fall, I held Ramona's hand, walking campus free at last. In the end, when society and family force you to hide who you are, is standing up for your love the right thing even if it breaks everything else?